Hey Jill, I am going to read your energetic signature. So when I went into your energy field, I saw this big frog, and in shamanism, they're representative of transformational phases, and he was making these really big leaps. He was asking me to follow him, so I said, okay. So we're walking down this path, and all of a sudden he comes up to these really big, almost kind of like icebergs, but not that big. They were kind of like these big, massive stepping stones that were really deep, okay, but not as big as an iceberg. But he was jumping onto each of them, and I said, aren't you cold? Because typically frogs, aren't in, like Arctic areas. And I put this little scarf on him. It was really cute. And we kept going, and then we ended up at a house, and it was a cottage. And before I went to go knock on the door to see who was there, I said, hey, do you want to come with me? And I'll put you in my pocket. And I was holding him up like this, talking to him. And he was like, no, I live here. And I was like, oh, okay. But he appreciated the offer for the ride nonetheless. So I knock on the door and I go inside, and then there's a woman in there, and she is a different incarnation of you, and the frog is her familiar. Okay, it is her friend, okay, that she works with, and he sends messages and retrieves things for her. They have a cute relationship. Okay, so I'm speaking to her, and I was telling, or I was letting her know why I was there on your behalf, and asking her if there's anything that she can help and support you with. And she said, oh yeah, I know Jill. She said, we have worked together in a lot of different incarnations. She said, I want you to look at this book. And it was kind of like this leather-bound black book. And when I opened it, it had all of these different inscriptions on it. And I said, I can't read this. And she said, you're not supposed to read it. You're supposed to feel it. Like you put your hand on it or your fingers on it, and then it transcribes over. And so I did that. And then I pulled my hand up, and there was all of these black dots all over my hands. I said, oh, what does this do? And as I was moving my hand, all of a sudden, my physical body was staying in the same place, but I had these astral arms, ethereal arms that were moving outside of me, like very quickly, faster than my actual physical body could. And I don't know if you've ever seen Doctor Strange, but he's able to project his astral body outside of himself, and he has a lot of arms that he can move very quickly. So then I actually stepped outside of myself in my astral form and was looking at my physical body. So this is a form of astral projection. And I've never experienced it like this before. Okay, I've done astral projection, but this was something different. And I said, how is this happening? How is this working right now? And she said that the inscriptions in this book were also encoded with this creature's DNA, which I've never seen the creature before either. And she said that it allows you to project your astral body outside of you so that you can run diagnostics on it. And I said, okay, what kind of diagnostics are we talking about? And then all of a sudden I saw inside of my brain, and I saw all of the neural networking within it. And basically you can take the exact same concept but outstretch it outside of your brain for your whole entire astral field, your light body, your auric fields. Well, let's take a look at this image here. Okay, so this is neural networking of our brains. However, what this version of you, this different incarnation, said that you can do is not only project your own astral body outside of you so that you can run diagnostics, but you will be able to see other people's astral bodies outside of them to run diagnostics on them. Okay, so with neural networking, sometimes it can have damage to it, and it causes things not to fire correctly, and so that can cause a lot of mishaps in person's lives with their senses, with their logical and analytical reasoning skills, with motor capabilities, lots of different things. Okay, so she said that she wants you to take this image here, but imagine that this is somebody's whole entire astral body around them, and the things that can create snags in the gift that you can perceive with is things that have happened in their Akashic field in different incarnations. So you'll be able to look at them and say, okay, well, you have this lifetime over here where maybe there's a soul contract or a vow, something that's not in resonance with the incarnation here that this being is in, this human is in, or it doesn't even have to be the human. It can be like a galactic being or right. So you'll be able to see where there's disruptions in their Akasha field based on different incarnations experiences. Like maybe they have PTSD and trauma from them, or they have karmic rollover lessons. You're basically pinpointing where there is the flow is not running correctly, if that makes sense. The chi flow within that other being, and there is no past lives, okay? They're all concurrently running with one another because time is not linear. So what is affecting one incarnation can affect the human that you're speaking to in this incarnation. But the reason that I was saying that it's not necessarily always having to do with the human in this incarnation is because sometimes when I'm doing Akashic record readings for persons, yes, I'm still helping the human here, but sometimes I'm also helping two different incarnations with one another. Does that make sense? Like, it outstretches the support that I am giving, and those two different incarnations, or sometimes multiples, actually are the ones that need more help than the human here that called on me for the support. But oftentimes the human that you are helping here is the portal to get to the other side to help those other incarnations. And then obviously that's going to have ripple effects back to the human here as well, because all of the incarnations are linked with one another. She said you can also think of it like this tree stump here. Okay, like if you opened up a tree and it had all these different rings, here in the middle is like the core soul, and then these are all the different incarnations that are relative to this soul's experience. So what you can do is, this is represented as somebody's astral body, is to look in their field and see where there is like what we'll call energetic breaks in chi flow that might be disrupting a whole group of incarnations within this person's field. Okay, maybe it's just one in different areas, but sometimes you'll have a whole lineage of incarnations that have similar soul contracts or karmic lessons or vows, that if you help one of them, it's going to have ripple effects for the whole entire lineage, and then it's going to help clear it out for the soul as a whole. Also, she is what is known, this different incarnation of you, as a woods witch, which I haven't really heard that terminology before, but from my perception abilities, it's someone who works very deeply with the earth, okay, and Mother Gaia, but I don't necessarily think that she's from this planet. I think she's from elsewhere, okay, so she probably has her own version of Mother Gaia over there, but that would be a question that you can go in and ask her in meditation. Sometimes they'll give us kind of like these labels so we can better like connect with them and understand them. And she said, the ways that you can continue to grow this ability and expand it is working on your clairvoyant abilities. That doesn't always mean seeing things, okay, in your mind's eye. I don't see images. Okay, I use my clairvoyance in a different capacity. I actually feel images, which is kind of clairsentience, but at the same time, it's a different flavor of clairvoyance. So she was saying if you don't see a lot of images, that's okay. You can still utilize this gift, but then you can also continue to practice and amplify your clairvoyance so that you will be able to see images. We need to be seeing with our spiritual eyes. It's not something that we're seeing with our physical eyes as much, okay? She said spending more time in your imagination and recalling things in your mind's eye, like pulling up an oak tree, pulling up a dog, pulling up, anything that is like nature based is going to be even better because it has more of a conscious soul, if that makes sense. Like everything has consciousness, but having things with a lot of life force energy within them, and that's going to help you with your perceivability gifts. And to further develop as well, we can go in meditation and speak with her and her frog friend as well if you'd like. And she is going to mentor and guide you with this gift, with this ability. And so I want to thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I hope you have an amazingly magical day.